Hello, welcome to another edition of the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. Thank you very much for being here. Mixing things up a little bit to my left, though. You're right, as normal. Marty Bin. Hello, sir.
Glad to be here.
And we brought true star power to the show.
A real celebrity.
Yes. The voice of the walleye, Mudhens broadcaster Matt Melzak.
Good to see you guys.
Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
I'm knee deep in the middle of a hockey season. I love it.
I can't get them early during baseball season, but hockey season.
Little more flexibility.
Day we tape tends to work out a little better. Good to have you back.
No, it's good to be back. Good to be back.
It's the only time I see you anymore.
I'm glad you brought me in. I know. Well, that's part of the deal, I guess. But it's good to see you.
All right, we're going to talk a bunch of football coming up. But first of all, we want to talk a little bit about what a lot of you are talking about. And first of all, our condolences go out to the Hullabarger family in the Bedford School District, and their son recently passed away. And it's been reported in the major media now that it was suicide. And I can't. First of all, I can't imagine the pain that the family's going through. I lost a father and a sister this year. It has not been easy. I can't imagine this for an 18-year-old, to have an 18-year-old son. So, Jeff, Linda, we send out our condolences to say the least. And but I can't comprehend something like that. And hopefully nobody has to go through that. But occasionally that does happen. So. But the whole situation around it has been difficult. The funeral was difficult. You probably saw the reports. Matter of fact, this story even got picked up by USA Today,
right?
Which is unfortunate. And by the way, too, Mason was a terrific football player. Was in criminal justice at the University of Toledo. Understanding he was an A student. Understanding he was a big Steelers fan, and. Once again, we send our condolences, but Jeff Wood is out at Bedford, and for I don't know how much of it is actions that he made outside of the Facebook post. The Facebook post was very unfortunate. Boy, when you send something on social media, you want to think twice. You said that to me on the phone before we tape. You really want to think twice because it's Nobody here is blaming anybody or putting anything on anybody else. That's not what we do. That's not our job here today. But yeah, before you click that send button on social media, think twice.
Well, when you asked me about this topic, I mean, it's very difficult for me because I have a son that's exactly the same age who competed against Mason for years, from all the way back in the Washington local league through a couple years St. Francis Bedford games, and forgetting that and the whole thing, one of my unspoken rules in coaching used to be no matter how upset we were after the game, don't ever confront me walking to the parking lot. Because as a coach and whatever else, I'm probably not in the right mindset. And Matt, if you were the parent, you're not in the right mindset. So you can call me tomorrow and we can talk about it. And if you're still as upset tomorrow as you were walking in the parking lot today, I want to talk about it because I want to get it resolved. But in the heat of the moment, don't talk to me. And I've always thought that's probably the social media lesson all athletes and coaches and parents and everybody should learn is in the heat of the moment, just hit pause, just for a day. And if you wake up tomorrow and you're just as upset and you've talked to your trusted advisors and you've talked to other people and you feel this is so important that you have to do that one day later, okay. Because then I think you've thought through the consequences and you live with it. And yet the worst mistakes I see happen are the ones that in the heat of the moment people post things because they emotionally reacted to a situation. I'm not saying that happened here because I don't know what happened. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But boy, to put that out there in that moment was a really horrible decision. And that for me, that's the end of my statement on it. But hit pause. Most of life, right? Chill for a minute, and life is probably better. And yet people don't do that.
Well, you look at the social media aspect of it, and you always have to think through what you're doing in life in general. And when you don't do that, and we see that a lot with social media is such a platform of it can be so good. And there's a lot of good things about it. You can catch things very quickly, and things, sports news and the happenings and stuff you could find very quickly on a Twitter, on Facebook, those kind of things. But there are the negative sides of it too. And we're seeing more and more of that as we go along, and hopefully we, as a society, rein it in. I mean, I know we're not here to discuss societal issues, but it is something that, hopefully as in a collective group of people, we catch on to.
No, but that's the one thing about sports, though, is society overlaps everything.
Sure.
I mean, it's not, you can't separate it all. It overlaps everything. And we got talking about coaching in today's day and age. And we're not putting anything on anybody here. We're not talking specifically about this instance, because we weren't there. We don't have, all the story. And we also know that, kids that age deal with a lot. And those were tough years for myself. I know that. And but when it comes to coaching, I think obviously communication broke down here. But when you're dealing with kids now, it's not the same. You can't. There are things that you can't do that you used to do.
And I think most of that, and I don't want to get off my lawn guy-ish, most of that is for the better. I think in a lot of ways, trying to intellectually connect with someone rather than bludgeon them over the head with a stick is better. It's tougher on coaches. It demands more from them to motivate people differently than someone being an icon. And again, this is not specific to this situation.
No.
And I want to be crystal clear.
Right.
This is not about that situation. But it's interesting to me.
You do know that you can't treat all kids the same.
Right.
There's some theoretically and metaphorically kick in the butt, and there's other ones where you have to pat them on the back. Two totally different.
I'm the proud father of two sons who, if you want to motivate them, it is one a baseball bat and a cattle prod were wonderful, because he is my son. He is a stubborn mule, and you got to get him mad to get him to perform at the highest level. And yet the other one, if you just talk to him reasonably and rationally and whatever, he'd run through a wall for you. But you yell at him, and he's got no interest. And that's in my house. And that's not.
I've had stepkids, so there are ones that will just melt down if you approach them that way, and you can't. And like I say, it all depends on the kid.
Again, more of a societal issue on that aspect. Well, when you take it into the sports world, you look at just the way practices have changed over the years. Whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey, whether it's baseball. I mean, just the way they look at practices now, and the way practices are run are a lot different than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago, where maybe you worked even more on conditioning, or, there was, drills that were designed for you to run a ton. Now it's more system oriented, it's more playbook oriented, that's what practice has become a little bit. Right. You work in yourself to be ready for the game. You don't need all of the extra, we're not going to spend a half hour out of our practice time just conditioning. We're going to we want to make sure everybody knows everything inside and out of the playbook. And that's kind of changed a little bit over the years as well.
I want to end this segment by this was in the media as well, too, the Hullabarger's family message. And I think this is something that everybody should take a pause and think about. And part of it, the end of it was, please be kind to one another, reach out to those you care about, and show sincerity in your actions and love forever unconditionally. And I would just say, before anybody, whether it's just a regular person, coaches, whatever, before you do say something, just take a second to think about how it might affect somebody else. So I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Jeff and Linda and the Hullabarger family, we definitely send our condolences, and our hearts are with you. We'll take a time out. When we come back, want to talk some college football, want to talk some NFL football, lots of football when we come back. It's part of our Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's December Decadence as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on a special Friday night event on December the 28th, 7 p.m. at St. Clemens Hall, 2990 Tremainsville. Amazing 8-match to defense the heavyweight title against Unchained Brandon Day. The Enforcer Andy Shane goes one-on-one with Sexy Sean Casey, with Malice, Queen Amidada, and the Circus of Pain all in action. Get your advanced discount tickets right now at pbwexcitement.com as they make a great Christmas gift. It's Powerbomb Wrestling, Friday, December the 28th in Toledo. And back we are on the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. Don't forget to pick up those Ralphie's gift certificates for Christmas. I believe it's a $25 gift certificate. You get an extra $5 thrown on top of it. So, pretty good deal. So check it out. Make great stocking stuffers, as do the Powerbomb Wrestling tickets, which I know you're going to be at the show on the 28th. So
Won't be in the country on the 28th, so not a temptation. Won't be here.
He's going to the estate in Aruba.
No,
So
I am
that's
somewhere warm. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, he'll be somewhere cold, I'm sure. All right. You've been watching the college football playoffs?
You warned me that you were going to do this.
The FCS
The
college
FCS college football
Fantastic.
playoffs, who are now down to 2 already. They're already down to their championship game after the game today.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
And
I have-
Matt,
it's
can you
been-
or I name who those 2 competitors are, or even the last 4? I bet not.
Well, considering when we're taping, you'd have to be clairvoyant to figure that out.
Okay,
but
the 4. I couldn't. No. For as much as you think this is a wonderful format, I
it's
got
fantastic.
no clue. You're correct.
It's fantastic football.
See, I have to agree that I think the playoff, I would like to see a bigger playoff in college football.
Well, bigger playoff
This year
is different.
is a great example
Yeah,
than
but,
the 14.
but Norm's idea is you take the MAC and all the rest of the group of 5 and drop them into Division 2, and then this becomes Division 3, and then only the Power 5 compete for number 1. And I just like the 12. We actually only agree on one thing, well, maybe 2 in all of this.
No, if you want to invite one of the non-Power 5s into the playoff, that's fine.
I think a non-Power
12.
5 this year, UCF should have been in the playoff.
Yeah,
If you want to do that, that's fine.
well, 12.
Boise State of years past should have been in the playoffs.
Correct.
If you're able to go undefeated even against your schedule, and you should have that
But
opportunity
now what
to
do you
play.
do with the other 50, 60 schools?
They go
all
to their
just
bowl
pretty
games.
much just watch.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the lower, but like separating even more.
So he's on my team. He just took it took a while for
But
him to
I want a
make his
bigger
point.
I want a bigger playoff though.
Well, we want a 12-team playoff with the first 4 getting a bye and then play-ins. And by the way, that would make an awesome schedule.
Those who did
See,
not
I
catch
think
this,
I think 12's too big.
those who did not catch that this week. See, I want to make sure that you get everybody in that should be in.
All right.
All right.
Give me everybody that should be in.
Well, no, this is what the 12-team playoff would
Okay.
spit
This
out.
is the Norman Marty plan that
All
would
right.
solve most of the problems in
All
college
right.
football.
Washington at Central Florida, which the winner plays Alabama.
Right.
Florida at Michigan, the winner plays Clemson.
Tell me that's not a sellout and huge interest.
LSU at Ohio State, the winner plays Notre Dame.
Thank you. Continue on.
And then Penn State at Georgia, the winner plays Oklahoma.
Is that not an awesome
But
December?
you have to go down to 9 to get Washington, who is the Pac
Right.
12 champ.
I'm fine with it. Again, we've said 12. Tell me that's not an awesome December.
And the top 4 all get buys.
I can't
They don't
argue
get
with
home
you that it
games
would
in the
be
first
awesome.
round.
Tonight would be the
But-
first round of those games, or today would have been a whole round of those games. So you'd have been. So no one would be watching us right now. So if you're watching us, you should support this. Because
So-
you could be watching the end of one of those games.
Yeah, you could be watching Florida, Michigan at noon.
Right.
LSU at Ohio State, 3:30.
Yeah. And what's the
And
late
then,
game?
then you put, you'd have a couple because you'd have Washington, you at Central Florida and Penn State at Georgia.
Okay. Well,
Now look, once they figure out
Or
that
you play
there
one on
is-
Friday.
well, that's what my vote's always one on Friday because high
Right.
school's over, one on Friday, and then the 3 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what your weekend would be like?
At 1, 4, and 8 or something like that. So, or noon, 4, and 8.
Once they figure out that there is a lot of money involved in that, then it will become a reality. But it's the NCAA has to take their leaps. Their leaps are very small. So they're at 4 right now. Then the next phase will be to 6 because they'll find a way to get to 6. So, years like this year will convince them that they should be at 6, and then that's the way it's going to go.
I know, but you're killing me. There's
the
nothing
way it's
worse than when Norm and I are on the same team on this show. It's a problem. You and the NCAA need to just go ahead and jump into the future.
I would love to see it go to 8 to me because I think 8 is a legit. I mean, to me, you can look at and then you give UCF a chance because they went undefeated and they should have a shot. To me, 8 is the perfect number. You start going past that,
But then
I'm
you still
sorry.
don't- you still
got
have
teams
Washington.
you got teams like Penn State in there that no, they're not going to win.
You never know. You never know.
That's why they
Purdue
play the
won't beat
game.
Ohio State.
Right.
Not a chance. You never know.
And Eastern Michigan won't beat Purdue. We've gone down this line already, And Eastern Michigan did get into a bowl, so hats off to them for that.
Well, not every game is going to be a spine tingler, but at the same time, you're going to get. What's different about this year is you have 3 undefeateds, and that almost never happens.
Right.
It's never happened since they started doing this 14 playoff stuff. Has never happened. But you can also weight the conference championship games when it comes to a bye. If you're going to get a bye, you got to win one of those conference championship games, or you got to go undefeated like Notre Dame.
Right.
But see, you're at 12, so now you got 4 teams getting a bye.
Absolutely.
me-
Love it. Reward them for being the best.
Right.
And
Right.
by the way, it makes the seating even better.
Reward them for being the best. Yeah, absolutely. And to get a home
And by
game.
the way, it's what happens in the NFL, right? The 4 best get a bye.
It's exactly
So
the
you'll have
NFL.
Georgia and
Yep.
Oklahoma, then probably Ohio State at Notre Dame, Michigan at Clemson, and then Washington or Central Florida at Alabama.
And again, you're telling me, so then next weekend, those would be the games on. You're telling me that TVs all over America aren't riveted all day?
But I would guarantee you that those top 4 seeds don't all win.
I would also guarantee that, yes.
Because Georgia
be
could beat
very-
Oklahoma, Ohio State could beat Notre Dame.
Right.
See, now, the reason why I would be okay with this is because I think teams do change over the course of the year, and I hate when they use the course of the season. Well, this team was better over the course of the season. Yes, that's fine. They were. But are they better going into the actual playoff?
And this would
time?
reward that.
It would, it would give you that opportunity.
Yeah. All right, we got to go to break. Bunch of NFL when we come back. We got a ton to talk about. Don't go anywhere. It's Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's December Decadence as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on a special Friday night event on December the 28th, 7 p.m. at St. Clements Hall, 2990 Tremainsville. Amazing 8-match to defense the heavyweight title against Unchained Brandon Day. The Enforcer Andy Shane goes one-on-one with Sexy Sean Casey, with Malice, Queen Amidada, and the Circus of Pain all in action. Get your advanced discount tickets right now at pbwexcitement.com as they make a great Christmas gift. It's Powerbomb Wrestling, Friday, December the 28th in Toledo. And back we are in the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's, and I'm Norm Waymer. This is not Big John Malkowski. He appeared to be a little bit longer.
A little longer. I've been working on it, though.
The one and only Matt Melzak, and of course, our resident antagonizer, Marty Penn. All right, let's take a look quick at last week's NFL. He had good news and bad news. Bad news was Browns won, beat Carolina. Game that you told us all they weren't going to win. So he's got this bet. Explain to everybody the bet again.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay,
quickly.
so if the Browns win 6, it costs me a sizable chunk of money, and if they win more
If they
than
go
6,
over 6.
they go over 6, and if they win under 6, then someone has to mow my grass off next year.
All right, and they're now 5-7-1,
and have 2 winnable games headed
Yeah,
out.
they're gonna be over. And not only that, they're in the playoff hunt.
You were feeling really good about it a couple of weeks ago.
I
and,
was.
Now, not so much.
The news, yes, the collar got a little tighter. And then what you're going to say about the good news is the Cowboys win, and that is great news as a Cowboy fan, although they're still going to lose their first-round playoff game. And on top of it, in my fantasy league, where I had a chance to be in the money, playing against me was Amari Cooper.
I believe the term you used for the Cowboys a few weeks ago was circling the drain.
Still circling the
They were,
drain.
what,
It's just
4-5 at the time?
The drain's a little clogged because the NFC East is that awful. It's still that awful.
The Redskins are down the drain now. So
Well, the Redskins are
cross
done.
them off. You could forget them.
And the Giants are still trying to claw their way up through the hair in the drain, refusing to accept their status as also-rans. And the Eagles officially flushed
The
themselves down
Lions
the
are
toilet.
underneath the hair.
Yeah, well,
Correct.
yeah.
And the Raiders
That's
are
right.
already
You're a
out to
Lion.
sea.
I forgot.
The Lions just keep screwing up their draft pick. I mean,
The Raiders are already
winning
out to sea. But,
Yes.
Although, there is a but.
beat Pittsburgh.
There is a but. The Lions have a 3% chance of getting in.
Uh-huh.
So there you go.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm not saying it, but
Someone statistically
someone
somewhere.
statistically found that they have a 3% chance of getting in. It'll never happen. Because they'll probably lose to Buffalo this week, and then it could be officially over.
I don't care that the Raiders are 3-10. They beat Pittsburgh. So it's like the whole season's made.
It makes you happy.
So, yeah, the whole season's made. I will say this, though, and just one comment from that game. And they probably don't win it if Roethlisberger doesn't get hurt. So,
Right.
But for half the game. But Derek Carr looked fantastic. I mean, total confident. I think he's been like 7 games or so since he's thrown an interception. He got some balls in some really, really tight windows in that game, and you're going to do that when you're really confident. So they took KC into the fourth quarter too. So beat Arizona.
Hope, so we're going to go from Dumb and Dumber to Shawshank. So hope is a good thing, maybe the best. It's what there's where we went right here on this segment.
Every year in the National Football League at the start of the year, you have hope because of the way they are doing it now. You can turn around on a dime. You can make yourself good in an instant. Sometimes it's scheduling, sometimes it's not. I mean, there's a lot of things. Everybody would have said Minnesota would kill everybody this year. That great defense. Now they've added Kirk Cousins. They're a 500 team.
Oh,
Well,
Philly
with everybody back
Oh,
and
yeah, they're-
Wentz healthy
oh, you
again.
can't beat them.
You can pencil them in for the next 5 Super Bowls in the NFC.
maybe it's Knowles and should be.
I mean, every now and again they are.
I didn't know you'd been drinking before tonight's show.
They're 6-7.
I understand.
Just
I don't know if
throwing
they
it
were
out there.
all that good anyway. I think they caught lightning in a bottle, which happens a lot in the National Football League. Unless you have Tom Brady, you can catch lightning in a bottle, and that's the only way you're going to win.
Everybody said in the NFC it was going to be either New Orleans or the Rams. How about Chicago? Knocking off the Rams 15-6. They put themselves in that discussion.
So remember this whole Vegas line on what a player makes? And
I'm just telling you what it was.
Wait. But at the beginning of the year, we all had this conversation, and I would say at this point in time, if you had to take Kirk Cousins or Khalil Mack for a difference maker on the plus-minus for your wins, Khalil Mack is more of a plus-minus than Kirk Cousins.
But Mack was out a couple of weeks, too, and they still won. So
I'm just saying,
Chicago-
but he's been wrecking people.
Chicago's a great example
great
of
player.
why
Never said he wasn't.
the NFL can turn around very quickly. You know, I mean, early in the year, the Bears played nobody. They had a lot of easy, winnable games. They won them. And now they've got a lot of confidence. Now the whole thing is different. Right. Whereas if you get out to the slower start, the only team that throws that off is Houston this year because they were 0-3 and then have gone on the huge run. But most of the time, I mean, it is. It's
right.
As you go throughout the season, the NFL is set up for you to be successful.
I want to hit on a couple more quick points. It's fun seeing New England lose at the end of the game, isn't it?
It's fun because they put Gronk in for the specific, jump ball, and so Belichick had to. I blew it, which it is really fun to watch him.
If you follow me on Twitter too, I retweeted a Tecmo Bowl play of that.
It's
I
fantastic.
think you saw that.
I did see it.
Yes.
I did see it.
And so much for McCarthy, or Rodgers being the problem with Green Bay. Beat Atlanta 34-20. Didn't look like they missed McCarthy too much.
Yeah, but those are two teams that have already. I mean, they're just getting washed down in the hairball and the drain too. So
I'm just saying.
That doesn't prove anything.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's interesting.
It doesn't make him not a prima donna quarterback.
Again, if you can't get on the same side with your star player, that's part of your job as a coach.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just.
You get in a room, you shut the door. You get the two of the room, you shut the door. You ain't leaving until we work this out. All right, let's take a look at what we're looking at this week in the NFL. Of course, the Thursday game was the Chargers against the Chiefs. The games today were Houston, the Jets, Cleveland, and Denver.
See, this is again why the college football playoff will never be here because the NFL needs some Saturdays.
Did you hear what the schedule?
No, they go to Saturday because there's no college football.
And did you
playoff.
hear what the schedule was today? Because no one's watching those games if there's these college playoff games on.
Tomorrow, though, is a different story.
Correct.
The 1 o'clock lineup. I really like the 1 o'clock lineup. This is a sports bar day.
Correct.
Your Cowboys at Indianapolis.
Which is a huge game for both teams.
Indy's playing well. Indy ended Houston's win streak. The Packers at the Bears. If Packers have any chance, they got to win this game.
They have no chance, but they still have to win the game.
Oh, they have a chance. Your second wildcard team's Minnesota at 6-1. The Packers are a game back with 3 left. I mean, come on, it ain't over. They got to win out, but it ain't over.
Right.
Miami at Minnesota. Yeah, obviously, with both of them are looking at wild cards, and then Detroit at Buffalo and.
The game I'm watching.
Oakland's at Cincinnati could win another one and really screw up their draft position.
We just went to where I'd start rubbing my head and try and figure out. Yes, I know.
That's because you're a Cowboys snob. We know
it's
that.
because those are awful football games.
You're a Cowboy snob. That's fine.
So was Detroit, Arizona, but the Lions pulled it out.
But
so
we
there
got to
you go.
run. But Sunday night, tomorrow night is New England Pittsburgh, or that's a 4 o'clock game. New England Pittsburgh, and Sunday night Philadelphia and the Rams. And Monday night's New Orleans and Carolina. Matt, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Marty, thank you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live next, Power by Wrestling coming your way at 2 a.m. You can't catch it, DVR it. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We're all there. We'll see you next week on the Front Row Roundtable Show, presented by Ralphie's.